Okay, so let's just get the obvious out of the way. Yeah, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's not my fault. I was born in a household where you were Dallas Cowboys fans, and well, I mean, they kept winning Super Bowls when I was a little kid. So, anyways, also, second thing of note, apparently this is the only warm hat that I wear. And so, after quite a few days of being inside, I decided to get for a walk. And one of the things that came to mind was this idea of effort versus outcomes, or outcomes or results. And there is, I think, from an entrepreneurial perspective, or when you're trying to take on a huge endeavor, there is this idea of sometimes we need to detach from the outcomes and focus on our efforts. And I think that's I know for me, that's a mindset that has allowed me to see through highs and lows, or to stay committed to what it is that I know will work or what needs to happen, is focusing on my efforts and not so much on the outcomes or not so much on the results. But in this kind of fresh world of working, and some organizations, some teams have not been remote before, they've not worked separately. I want to almost say, do we need to flip that? Because there's this idea of working on or focusing on your efforts. And efforts could say, okay, I need to work 40 hours or I need to work 45 hours this week. And when we focus on our effort, we're focusing on the time that we need to fill. One of the things that we've noticed with motivation is this idea of carrot and stick mentality does not actually work like it used to. Dan Pink in his book Drive brought this thinking to the surface, that if we stay focused on, if I do X, I'll get Y, meaning if I put in effort, I'll get this reward, meaning I'll get a paycheck, which is crazy important right now in this season of change. But for us as leaders, or for us even as individual contributors, do we need to focus on our efforts, or do we need to focus on results? One of the things that I keep hanging in visual sight for me is the idea that especially when we're thinking about building out training programs, is, are we building training to focus on training, or are we building training to focus on performance, meaning an improved outcome, an improved result? So one thought that I just want us to think about is, when we're leading, when we're touching base in this time of shift, of transition, of change, are we focused on the effort, meaning are we focused on the 40 hours, 45 hours, or are we focused on getting the result that we actually need, the key result, or the outcomes, or the thing actually moved forward? So when we're touching base with people, let's not be so concerned with their effort or their time put in. Let's stay very focused on what is the key result. And that's actually one of the most beautiful measurements or approaches for me of engagement. Employee engagement, one of the most critical I think definitions is the emotional commitment, the emotional connection to the outcomes. And so one of the reasons why we're always pushing for engagement is to get that emotional commitment to the outcome, because we know it's the outcome that drives our business forward. So what I'm interested in is, for you, do you find you stay focused on your efforts, or do you find that you stay focused on the outcomes? And we've discussed that it can be positive both ways. But in this new season of change, of shift, what's it gonna